I know what you're thinking. Using a gas grill for steaks feels like cheating, right? Like it's too easy to work. I used to think the same thing. Real grilling meant fighting with charcoal, right? But here's what changed my mind. Last summer, I ruined $80 worth of steaks for my in-laws. They were so tough, my brother-in-law, he joked that he needed a hacksaw to cut through them. That's when I figured out this one thing that turns cheap steaks into something you'd get at a fancy restaurant. And it works great on gas grills because of how you control the heat. Stick around because I'm going to walk you through why this method is so straightforward. By the end, you'll be cooking steaks that have people asking about how you did it. And I'll share some of my stories from my own backyard messes and how to fix it, plus a few options if you're shopping on a budget or you're trying different cuts. Here's what most people get wrong. They think that the grill does all the work, and that's wrong. The first step decides everything. Like I'm talking about if you get amazing steaks or expensive mistakes. So here's what we're doing. Taking the right steak, getting it ready the smart way, and doing that thing with the fork that makes any steak tender. Store, grab some New York strip steaks. They're a good mix of flavor and price. Get them about as thick as your phone that has a case on it. So right around an inch or inch and a half. So that's what works best for even cooking. And we look for the white lines that run throughout the meat. That is called marbling. Those white streaks keep your steaks juicy as it cooks. You don't need a ton, you just need visible ones. And that makes all the difference. But if you can't afford a New York strip steak, sirloin works great. I fooled a few people into thinking that cheap sirloin was something fancier than it was. It's all about how you handle it next. Or if you see a nice T-bone on sale, like I did last week, go for that. I picked one up because it was marked down. And it's basically two steaks in one. New York strip on one side of the bone and a piece of a fillet on the other. You get that tender fillet texture mixed with the strip's flavor, which makes it fun to eat. Just make sure it's not too thick, or you're gonna have to adjust your times a little bit. Now, when you get back home, the first thing that you wanna do is pat your steak completely dry with paper towels. Get every drop of water off of both sides and the edges. Now, why are you bothering to do this? Well, if there's water on there, it steams instead of searing when it hits the grill. You end up with gray meat that doesn't have that nice brown outside. I learned this the hard way when I rushed it once, and my steaks looked like they were boiled. Now, for seasoning, keep it simple with salt and pepper and garlic. Press it into the meat with your hands so it sticks well. If you want to switch it up, you can use any of your barbecue rubs instead. Don't worry if it's store-bought or if you made it at home. Either one works fine. Or you can use pretty much whatever you have in the pantry. Whatever the spices you have, it's going to be adding some extra flavor to the meat. I use a basic barbecue rub on that T-bone, and that rub gave it a nice smoky taste that went great with the grill. Here's the thing that I do. Take a regular fork and poke your steak about 20 times on each side. I know this sounds odd, but it helps break up the tougher spots so that the meat ends up more tender. And I actually learned this by accident when my 7-year-old helped me cook. He grabbed the fork and he started poking away. I actually thought that he ruined dinner, but it turned out to be the most tender steak I ever made. So now I do it every time, especially on cheaper cuts like sirloin or that T-bone that I was talking about earlier. Now after that, let it sit on the counter for about 30 minutes. This brings it up to room temperature so it cooks evenly from edge to edge and in the center. Now, if it's straight from the fridge, the outside is going to burn before the inside is done. I skipped this once when I was in a hurry for a family dinner and the steaks were raw right in the middle. It wasn't fun explaining to everyone that we had to pop those steaks into the microwave to cook them. So give it that half hour. Use the time to get your grill going or prep some sides. There, now your steak is now set up for good results. Now we make your gas grill work better for cooking. We're building 2 zones here. One really hot for searing and one gentler for finishing. It's like having a hot pan and a warm oven right on the grill. Turn all the burners on high, close the lid, and wait about 15 minutes. You want it hot enough that you can only hold your hand right above the grill grates for about 4 Mississippis, maybe 2 Mississippis. It's right about 4 inches is where you want to have your hand. Try this test. Hold your hand right over the grill and count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. If you pull away before 3, it's good to go. I do this every time because the grill thermometer could be off. Now, while the grill is heating, clean your grates with a grill brush. Get all the old bits off from the past cooks so nothing sticks or tastes weird. Then oil the grates. Soak a paper towel with some cooking oil and grab it with tongs and rub it all over. Skip this and your steak might stick to the grates. I've had to scrape off stuck pieces more times than I want to admit. And it ruins the look and it ruins the nice sear. or the crispy bark. Now, create your zones. Turn off all the burners on one side and keep the other side on high. Hot side for the initial cook, cool side to finish without burning. Even a basic 2-burner grill works fine. One side hot, one side off. That's what I use at home, and it gives me control over the heat. Now, why does this system work? With gas, you can adjust on the fly. If it's cooking too fast, move it over or turn your heat down. You can set up a 2-zone fryer on a charcoal grill too. However, it's a lot harder to dial in or adjust your heat mid-cook. I find that a gas grill is a lot easier to adjust. If your grill has more burners, you can make a bigger cool zone for multiple steaks. Last weekend, I did 4 at once for friends, and they all came out even because of this. You now have control over your cooking. That's why gas grills make things simpler. You get to decide the heat level. Next, we're going to get to the actual cooking part. This is where most people get nervous and start flipping too much or checking constantly. Good steaks come from doing the right things at the right time. We're searing quick to get great flavor on the outside, then finishing slow to get the inside how we want it. So put your steak on the hot side first. You should hear that sizzle right away. If you don't hear the sizzle, then you need to wait longer for your grill to heat up. That sizzle is the sound of the outside browning, which adds taste. It's from the heat reacting with the meat. It's nothing fancy, just good cooking. Now close the lid and leave it for about 3 minutes. Don't open it or poke around. Opening lets the heat escape and slows everything down. After about 3 minutes, flip it once. Give it another 3 minutes on the other side. Now, check the temperature with a meat thermometer. And you're going to want to do this in the thickest part of. Now make sure to avoid hitting that bone if it is a T-bone. For medium rare, which works well for most steaks, aim for 125 to 130. Medium is 135 to 140. Rare is 120 to 125. And if you like a well done steak, go higher, but it might dry out. So this is totally up to you. And if you aren't there yet, move it to the cool side and close the lid. Wait 2 minutes and then check again and then repeat the process if needed. Now, did you hit that temperature that you're looking for? Then take it off right away. Leaving it longer can overcook it fast. Put it on a cutting board and cover it loosely with foil. Let it rest for 5 minutes. This keeps the juices in, and if you cut too soon, they all run out. I ignore the resting ones at a party, and the steaks were dry by the time we ate them. Now I always wait, and it makes a huge difference. If you're doing a T-bone, remember that the fillet side cooks faster, so check that part first. My T-bone came out great because I watched the temperatures separately. Now, you just followed the same steps that I use every time to get a nice sear and a tender inside. Let's add some extras to make the steak stand out. By the way, if you're new to backyard barbecue and you need a little help with cooking times and temperatures, I have a free guide for you. It covers everything from meats to veggies, and it's perfect for getting started. All you have to do is just drop a 100 down in the comments below, and I'll send it your way. Your steak is done, but a few quick things can make it taste even better. To make it taste like you put in a lot more effort than you did. These take maybe 5 minutes, but it'll change how your steak looks and tastes. While the steak cooks, melt 4 tablespoons of butter with some chopped garlic and a small pan. Toss in some herbs if you have them. You can either use dry ones or you can use fresh ones. And the last tip, brush this right on top. This is called butter basting, and it can be done in a pan on the stove. Adds a ton of flavor and fills the yard with an incredible smell. When slicing, cut against the grain at an angle. Fan it out on the plate, makes for a pretty awesome presentation and makes things a lot easier to eat. To kick it up a notch, mix a compound or flavor butter ahead of time. Soften the butter, stir in some herbs, garlic, or blue cheese. Roll it in plastic, place it in the fridge. Serve it with a slice of your hot steak, and it's gonna melt right into a sauce. I did this with some blue cheese for a game day, and everyone kept eating more. Now you've got a steak that tastes good and looks good. Here are some quick fixes to some common problems. Even when you follow these steps, stuff happens. Here's how to handle the unusual issues. Is your steak sticking to the grate? Don't yank it. Wait another minute. It'll release when the sear is set. If it's bad, a spatula does help. All you have to do is just slide right around the meat. Is your outside overcooked and you have a raw inside? Your grill probably was too hot or your steak was too cold from the fridge. Next time, let the grill warm up just a little bit longer. You have big flames from fat dripping, and move the steak over to the cool side. It's gonna calm down those flames. Or you can kind of close the lid and smother it. I had this happen with fatty strips. Now I trim the excess fat first. Now, is your steak too tough? You might have skipped that full process that I was talking about earlier, or you didn't rest it long enough. Or it was a cheap cut, so try a cut that has some extra marbling. Now, if you don't have any sizzle at the start, your grill is not hot enough. Crank it up and wait that extra time. This happened to me in cooler weather. Do you have some uneven doneness? Flip only once and use the zones. For thicker cuts, like a T-bone, rotate it halfway if needed. And there you have it. Proof that grilling steak on a gas grill really is that easy. You now have control. You know how to control the heat zones, the timing, the works, and touches that make it taste better. But if you can handle steaks this way, think about trying ribs next. I'm talking about the ones that fall off the bone without watching them all day. Go ahead and click on this video right here where I show you a rib cooking method that uses the same 2-zone fire setup to create ribs so good your neighbors will literally ask for the recipe. Go ahead and check it out now, and I'll see you there.